All right. Greetings and peace, everyone. Welcome to the C.R.S.A YouTube channel. And I definitely want to talk to you. Well, first I want to say my name is Neo, and I am a personal development consultant. And what I do is I assist people with their personal development journey, both starting it and along the way. And I started my personal development journey back in 2012, many years ago, and I have learned tremendous amounts of information about personal development, life, spirituality, relationships, the mind, and communication. And that is what the minimum basics of what personal development includes. And that's what a lot of people do not understand. A lot of people think that personal development is just getting your body right and getting all of the material possessions and walking around feeling happy and all of that stuff. And no, personal development includes a conglomerate of things. So right now I am on my morning working out, and I came around in my usual area where I would come and get some peace and quietness in the morning, do a little bit of meditation, and sometimes do some sun gazing and get some good sunlight during the day. And I gotta get better sunlight this way. And I was thinking about this marriage thing because I was watching a TV show. And it looks like I gotta go this way then. I was watching a TV show a few weeks ago, and there was a guy on there that a lot of people like and talks a lot about relationships, right? And the guy does make a lot of sense in a lot of his information, but at the same time, his mind is still part of the masses of the system of things that keeps people trapped from understanding true spirituality, personal development, and being analytical. So he would always talk about being married, getting that ring, and yada yada yada. But in actuality, getting married the traditional way is actually the way of the system. The system of things that we live in is not meant for our highest good, our highest spiritual good. I got to tell you guys that. That's the one thing I've learned throughout my personal development journey and analysis of this realm that we live in and this system of things that we live in. I live here in America, so a lot of what I talk about, some of it can go with both around the globe, some of my information, but the majority of it is dealing with America that you see on my YouTube channel, because I examined this American system closely because I live here in it, and there's nothing else for me to really study anywhere else because I haven't been to any other countries, which I might do that one of these days and analyze their system too, so I can help people out over there. That's a possibility because I'm very analytical. So with me studying relationships also, I've learned and I've seen the pattern that when everybody gets married, a portion amount of people, I'm talking about the traditional marriage where you get the certificate and then you get the ring and you do all of that crap that people have been programmed with the marriage propaganda. And I might do a marriage trap video to go along with my other psychological traps. That's a possibility. If you're interested in that, I'll go ahead and analyze and break that down and let you know what's going on with that propaganda. But what I've learned throughout my years of studying relationships, that every time a couple gets married, they always say that before marriage, a lot of people, they say before marriage everything was good, but then after they got married, that's when they start going downhill. And that is the major pattern that I have learned. I'm like, whoa, something is really, really going on with this marriage, this marriage thing. And me, when I came up in the Jehovah's Witness religion, as many people who have been here with me for many years, as far as on my channel, and you can go back and check out my Jehovah's Witness YouTube video talking about my time leaving it. Back then, I was really interested in getting married by the time I was the age of 26, not 16, sorry, 26. And I was saying to myself but back then I thought that was going to be like a good age for me to actually get married. But then going through my personal development journey and studying relationships for myself and not listening to what the Jehovah's Witnesses actually say about marriage, I realized like, whoa, marriage is a lot. Relationships itself is a lot. Let me see if I can get it like this. Relationships itself is a lot. So I decided not to go with the marriage situation. And ever since then, even past my mid-20s, I'm giving away my age a little bit. But anyways, once I got past it and started studying it more, I'm like, yo, marriage is actually, the traditional marriage is not a good idea at all. And it's definitely not the answer all of the time. And this is the reason why I have to tell you guys this. These are the top things you have to understand about life and yourself before marriage in general. And this is what I've learned throughout my personal development journey, and I analyzed it and I realized the difference between understanding these things and not understanding these things. And once I understood them and I know how to utilize the information, I can see the difference between the people who haven't done the work and who have done the work. When you come, before starting relationships and a lot of things in life in general, but I'm gonna say relationships, the top thing you want to truly understand is, number one, first and foremost, your life purpose. If you don't understand your life purpose, what you came here to do in this human experience, I don't like to say life and I don't like to say reality, because it's not a reality, it's not real. But I'm going to go into a video explaining that, because I have notes that I'm writing down. Do a whole video, probably close to an hour, explaining about this dream world that we're living in. You have to understand your purpose. If you don't understand your purpose, you're going to be wasting a lot of your damn time running around, doing a lot of different things, and your ego keeping you distracted. So that's the first thing. You got to focus on that. That's part of your spirituality. That's what religion doesn't really teach people, is spiritual, is understanding their life purpose, seeking it, going inside themselves and analyzing themselves, understanding their life's purpose. And me, I understand my life purpose, and I got a natal chart years ago that helped me understand why a lot of people, places, and things been occurring my way, and especially why certain people, well, most people, when they get around me, they just speak truth to me about their life as if I'm their scheduled counselor. Like random people come out of nowhere. And I'll probably give you another example another time, because I don't want to talk too much here. And they said that was my purpose, is to be some kind of counselor. And now I can see why it's so easy for me to counsel people and to treat people a certain way, like teaching them and guiding them, because that really is my life purpose. So that's why I transitioned from worrying about music. That's why you hear some music on my YouTube channel from years ago to this spiritual stuff, relationships and personal development stuff, because that is what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's what you have to focus on in your life. Figure out what is going on in your life, what you enjoy doing, how people, places, and things respond to you, and where do people tell you where you should be going, what you will be good at. Like for me, my sister one time said that I should be a motivational speaker, my little sister, and I said that I already do something like that pretty much anyways with my YouTube channel and my personal development consultations and stuff like that. So that's that. The other thing you got to understand is you got to understand your mind. Your mind is very, very important in your life. And that's one major thing that I have learned throughout my personal development journey, is understanding the mind and how important it is. And it is the most important thing in our lives, because the mind is us and the mind is all. As the Kabbalah says, the mind is all, and the universe is mental, and the universe is inside of us. God is inside of us. We are God. We're part of God. If you don't understand that, then you have a long way to go. I don't care how much money you got in this world. I don't care how much social status, career status you got. If you don't understand that, you got a long way to go. And your ego is going to be traveling you, making you do a lot of ridiculous things. So you got to understand the mind. Then the other thing is your goddamn brain, because the mind and the brain are connected to each other. And the brain is what I call our virtual reality device of this realm, because it is creating this perception of people, places, and things in this illusionary world. If you don't understand the brain, you don't understand that, you still got more work to do as far as your personal development. And I can probably go on with another video explaining that part. Okay, is your ego. I got to tell you, the other thing is, and this is going way further than I really expected. I just wanted to tell people why marriage is not the answer, but I guess this is good information that you need to know. Okay, your ego is also your false self. That person that gets sad at times, the person that gets weak, that gets offended by what people say, the person that feels arrogant many times, the person that feels like they have to feel important throughout the day, they have to feel validated. That's your false ego self. If people understand that and understand the thoughts and feelings that it brings them, and they learn how to control it and bypass it, then they can have better relationships with other people. But a lot of people I've learned throughout my years of studying relationships and studying couples is that and also me understanding my ego and how to bypass it and not allow it to control me, I've learned that it's that they have been getting involved, getting in trouble with. And it's their ego that has been sabotaging their relationships greatly. So they have to learn how to control that and recognize all of the things that's going on with the ego, how it functions, how to bypass it. And one of the top ways, if not the best way, is to be humble. You have to be humble. You got to learn how to be humble, and you got to consciously be humble until you develop that automatically, that humility automatically, because the ego does not know how to deal with humility. That's why you see those people always trying to prove something to somebody. They're going out of their way. They don't know how to just relax and just let things flow. And some people, the ego will have a person doing some ridiculous things that they do not need to do and making them run around being exhausted. That's the ego. And they have to learn how to be humble and just let things be, let things flow. They have to learn how and when to let things go. So then once you understand that, the next thing you got to understand, and within this process too, then, if you don't understand it after this, is understanding relationships, having a great comprehension of relationships. My studying of relationships and also using my own subliminal messaging has helped me tremendously with understanding relationships greatly, to the point where a lot of this stuff that I teach here on my channel, it comes from both my studying and also sitting down, meditating, and just sometimes I'll just look out the window. I just sit there, look out the window, and then revelations just come to me about relationships that I never realized before, and then I would just go ahead and do a video. That's why there's so many videos here talking about relationships. So I am one of the many guys to actually come to for humble information, accurate information, and information that's outside of the masses information, because the masses of people, they are trapped in this matrix world psychologically and spiritually, and they believe heavily in a lot of these things of this world. They don't understand spirituality. So that's why I mentioned to people that be very cautious with who you get your life, spirituality, and relationship information from, because a lot of people are still trapped into this physical realm and into their ego. And me, I'm outside of my ego. I understand it, and I know how to let it go in and out, in and out. And sometimes I'll just let it be. Yeah, sometimes I just act silly, have fun, and just let it go wild a little bit. But I still got a leash on it because I know how to not let it go crazy. So, and then understanding communication, that's the other thing too. I've learned that a lot of people think that because they can speak their native tongue, whatever it is, English, Spanish, or whatever it is, that they actually know how to communicate well. No, once you learn the basics of your language, you then have to continue to understand communication and how to communicate appropriately and appropriately for each situation, because each situation requires different forms of communication, different forms of tones of voice, and you not only speaking communication. Appropriate communication is also listening appropriately and fully. A lot of people, they just sit there and they hear, but they don't really listen. And listening and speaking requires the mind again. I gotta tell you, see, communication requires the mind. Everything in our world, this world, is all consciousness. It's all dealing with the mind. That's why I said that's the second thing. Well, actually, the first thing you really should understand. But I don't want to put it all in order, but to confuse people. But I would say that's definitely in the top 3 to understand is your mind. Because when you're listening to people, and I've learned that throughout my years of practicing, is when somebody is speaking to me that I really want to listen to, I take my mind and I focus it on them, and I block everything out from coming in and out of my consciousness, and I just focus on the words, focus on the tones of voice, the energy, their body movements. If I'm looking at them, all of it, I look at all of it and pay attention to all of it, and that helps me understand their holistic message of what's really going on, and it helps me understand their truth, if they're actually speaking truth or not. That's the other thing. So those are the top things that you have to understand before marriage, and that's what I have to tell you guys, that marriage is not always the answer, and that just because you're in love with each other right now does not mean that you're going to be in love with each other even more after you get married. And also, if you're not in love with each other and you're already struggling outside of marriage, then getting married is definitely not the answer. Definitely not the answer, because you got to think about it. It's just a goddamn paper that says that you're married, and it's just a goddamn band on your finger, a ring that just symbolizes your union, and that's it. And I like to use the analogy of getting your driver's license. Many people who get their driver's license does not mean that they know how to drive a vehicle. A lot of people who got driver's license, if you think about it, actually get into car accidents often. Just think about it. Your little brother, your little sister, your older brother, your older sister, your mother, whatever. You always hear them about getting into some kind of accident while they do have their license, right? See, that again, your license for marriage, your license for being a doctor, your license to be married, driver's license, all of that requires consciousness. Appropriate consciousness is dealing with the mind. What matters most is the quality and the strength of your mind, and you being able to understand the mind and being able to control your own mind. That is what matters first and foremost. Not your material possessions, not your social status, not your career. It's your mind that matters most in your life, and it should matter most to you. You got to understand that, because the mind is all. It literally is. Once you understand that, life will become so much easier. You will understand what type of beliefs you need to have to be able to make things work for you, to be able to get the right behavior for you, because the mind deals with the behavior, also our behaviors. It deals with how people treat us. Also, we do have a certain amount of control on how people treat us, even when we walk in a room and nobody knows us. But I'll get into that maybe another time, or I might save that for a special video or something else, but not right now. But it's been long enough. I talked more than I expected, And I just want to say that don't allow this society here in America or anywhere to make you think that and believe that marriage is everything and that marriage is the answer, because it's certainly not. I've looked at it from my own analysis and speaking with couples and seeing how they function, and I'm telling you, a lot of them are mentally dysfunctional. A lot of people are very, very mentally dysfunctional. I deal with a lot of people throughout my personal development processes, clients, and helping them resolve their mental issues. And people come to me a lot for my subliminal tools that helps them with their mind, program their own mind, because our mind is programmable just as our personality, because our personality deals with the mind also. And a lot of people don't know that they could actually change and enhance their own personality. Definitely. Because me, I'm a lot more vibrant, I'm a lot more articulate than ever before. I have a lot more confidence than ever before. And you can even look at my old videos all the way till now. I'm a lot more confident. And this video right here, I decided to do a actual video because number one, I got a better camera, and number two, I'm in much better shape than I was before this past few years, because the past few years I've been just eating a lot, and I love to eat, especially what do you call it, pastries and candy. I'm a candy man. I love candy. So I used to didn't want to get on the camera because I was conscious of how I looked. But that was one of the reasons why I would always do the audio only type stuff. That was one of the reasons. The other reason why I like it is the convenience. I didn't have to do a lot of things, and it also helps people focus straight on the information rather than how I look, because I've realized that with my ego and other people's ego, what we would do is we would always judge people. It always gets people to judge other people on the way that they look more than paying attention to the information that the person is giving. And I've learned that by looking at myself when I'm watching certain female videos that are some good looking women, and then it's like I have to consciously focus my mind on the information that they are sharing rather than worrying about how good they look, because some of them really do look good as far as on YouTube, and it's like I got to control myself. It's my silly ego that's a childlike behavior that it gives people, and you got to focus and bypass it and not allow it to distract you. So that's another reason why I did the audio only, is to prevent people from focusing on the visual aspect of me rather than the information. So for right now, I felt like it's been a while since I did a face-to-face video where people can actually see me, and people know that I do face videos. I might do a few more of these too, because that way I don't have to worry about editing too. That's the other thing too. I don't like worrying about the editing. It just takes too long sometimes. Sometimes I just want to record something and just upload it straight up to YouTube, and that's what I'm about to do right now. But alright, so if you want my information to get up with me, you can check that out in the description. I usually have that in most of my videos. The description, my email is at committedrelationships@gmail.com. That'll be in the description. And definitely like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you want more information about relationships and spirituality, then this is one of the many channels that you want to go to. All right, thank you very much. Until next time.